What's up, guys? I'm Mike from StockedUp, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We have a ton of important information to go over in today's video. Powell is speaking tomorrow, and this can have a huge impact on the market overall. We also have some amazing news for stocks like DraftKings, Penn, Caesars, and MGM. We also have some news with the value stocks. Overall, we just have a great video for everyone today with a lot of plays and a lot of news. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video. We have a $14.7 million trade that expires this week. And overall, if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe. But Tom, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty excited with just everything going on in the market right now. The S&P 500 broke all-time highs today, actually. And, we have Powell speaking tomorrow. I just have a feeling that things are about to get pretty volatile. What do you think?
Yeah, very volatile. Powell speaking tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and CNBC reports that the Fed must walk a very fine line as financial markets hang in the balance. And, as we've been seeing, banks have been going up, the markets have been going up. We're at all-time highs. Powell's going to be talking tomorrow, and they just had that FOMC meeting today, and tomorrow they're going to give the press conference. And I think that they're going to be talking a lot about inflation and the overall how the overall stimulus package is affecting the economy and will affect it going forward. And this is going to be a pretty big thing. Is I don't think people like Powell and them are going to want to change the policy. I think they're going to want to keep rates around zero. But with these stimulus packages and stuff coming in and helping to boost the markets, you would think that they would eventually have to start raising the rates or at least kind of talking about it. Because see, they're going to be talking about the economy, and if they talk about it in a positive way, they're going to have to start eventually raising these rates sometime or another.
And I just want to remind everyone, sometimes Powell speaks and the market just tanks, and sometimes he speaks and the market rockets up, and sometimes he speaks and the market does basically nothing. So overall, though, Powell has a pretty big influence on the stock market and the economy. So it is pretty important to listen to him. But Tom, I saw some pretty awesome news with DraftKings and just some sports betting stocks. What went on in that sector today?
MarketWatch actually reported that the 2021 March Madness will be the first sporting event to reach $1 billion in legal wagering, their analyst says. And the tournament, which begins on Thursday, March 18th, could see anywhere between $1 billion and $1.5 billion in total legal bets in the U.S., according to projections from Play USA. And that's huge for sports betting. One event could generate over $1 billion or $1.5 billion in legal wages. That's a pretty big deal, and they're going to make a lot of profits from that, I would think. And man, there's a whole bunch of teams in there. The odds aren't pretty good on a lot of them. And I think my favorite team to win the tournament is Illinois, but there's a lot of good teams in there. Comment down below your favorite team, but this is going to be fantastic for these stocks like DraftKings, like MGM, like Penn Gaming. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff going on right now that could help these stocks. And also legalization and stuff is coming around. So it's looking good for DraftKings. They've been going down the past couple of days and kind of fell out of their range. But I do think, though, in the short term going forward, they might start to pop back up with this good news.
For sure. So I am just a huge fan of DraftKings for the long term and just that industry overall. So I really like DraftKings. I really like Penn for the long term. PENN, MGM and Caesars they're pretty good too overall. But I actually read that article that you're talking about, and what I found is really interesting is the Super Bowl brought in, I think it was around $500 million in total bets, legally, and March Madness is projected to have $1 billion to $1.5 billion. Overall, I think that's just going to be great for the industry of legal sports betting and things like that. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of DraftKings, especially for the long term, and honestly, I would love to see them fall to pick up more shares for the long term, maybe some cash secured puts or something like that.
Yeah, I'd like to see him fall too. I know I had them personally down there around 35 and ended up letting go around 55. And man, I wish I would have just kept holding them, but they just kept going up. And like you said, it would be a good time to get some puts if it starts to go down.
Yep. So just want to clarify, puts are completely different from, regular puts are completely different from cash secured puts. Basically, if DraftKings falls, we would like to sell some puts so we could potentially get assigned some shares of DraftKings. But Tom, the Dow actually broke all-time highs yesterday, and it's just been on a tear for the past couple weeks. Is there any important news surrounding that?
Yeah, a lot of the stocks in the Dow are actually almost at their all-time highs, and they've been having their best quarters since the early 1980s per CNBC. We see Walgreens, which is WBA, they've had their best quarter since the early 80s, as well as Chevron, which is CVX. And guys, the oil sector has been going up. Walgreens has been profiting up quite a bit. I know we talked about it in one of the previous videos, but it's doing amazing this year as well. Intel is having its best gains since 2003, which is INTC, and that's an amazing stock as well, up to 64, finally breaking above that high today of around $64, moving up to around 65.70 in during market hours. But it's just amazing to see these stocks doing this well, especially some of these stocks that have been getting kind of hurt lately. Like Walgreens was having a bad couple of years, Chevron was having a bad couple of years, so was Intel, even some other ones like Boeing was having a bad couple of years, Caterpillar. They're doing great as well, but they've been doing pretty solid though the past few years.
For sure. Well, let's get right into our Discord member of the day and the momentum plays. With today's member of the day, we have Elvis. So huge shout out to Elvis. Thank you for being an active and super positive member of the community. We really appreciate it. Now for the momentum plays. With the first one, we have F. So that's Ford to the downside.
Yep, and with Ford to the downside, go ahead and make them fall below $12.40 tomorrow.
Sounds good. With the next one, we have American Express also to the downside.
Yep, with AXP, go ahead and make them fall below 142.
All right, and then we have Pfizer to the upside.
Yeah, this stock has actually been doing pretty good the past few days. Make them pop above 30, let's see, 35.85. And guys, Mike called one of these out, and it was a fantastic play.
Oh yeah, so we were actually swinging Pfizer from last week. So Tom and I we called out Pfizer to the upside in the premium part of the Discord. If you want to learn more about that, you can click the first link in the description down below for about $40 off. Overall, it was a pretty solid trade. We don't win every trade. No one does. We've been really hot this month, so check it out if you want to. You can cancel at any time. And like I said, about $40 off. So yeah, overall, we are watching Ford and American Express for potential day trades tomorrow to the downside. We are eyeing Pfizer for a potential day trade to the upside tomorrow, only if they can break the levels Tom listed. But now let's get right into the $14.7 million trade for this week. We are looking at the Apple 127 strike calls that expire this Friday, March 19th. I mean, I think Powell's going to have a huge influence on the market tomorrow. And my first thoughts are going to say that they're shorting these calls, just like the way Apple chart looks. Overall, I would say I'm more neutral than anything else. It's just, I don't know. I'm pretty neutral on this one overall. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Apple is pretty interesting with Powell talking tomorrow. I will say I'm pretty neutral as well. The stock went up today pretty significantly, and then ended up pulling all the way back to 125, which is around where it was in pre-market, and then it ended up closing at like 125.60. So it was pretty volatile. I think it's a coin flip tomorrow on whether this goes up or down. Powell is going to really, I think, decide what goes on, and what happened in those FOMC meetings is going to be a pretty big deal, I think, with the market and the overall sentiment tomorrow. And I think people are going to really have their eyes on that. So watch for possibly a lot of volume before this happens, because there's going to be a lot of people trying to get into some plays and stuff before he goes ahead and talks.
Sounds good. Well, let's get right into our comments from the previous episode. So we have a comment asking about ZOM from Munch and Whitney. So Tom, I know a lot of people have been talking about this stock lately. It actually had a tremendous run up from about 6 cents all the way up to just under $3 per share. And right now it's sitting right around $2.25. Do you have any like support and resistance levels or any insight on this one?
Yeah, there's actually a really good support at $1.50, but it did hit that twice in the past, and now it kind of looks like it's posting a lower high right now. If we don't see a couple green days over the next couple days, expect this to be the lower high. And if it is a lower high, the stock might start going on a downtrend here. Usually lower highs mean the stock is going to start to reverse. And if we don't see the stock, I think, break this 272 level, and unfortunately, it will start to go down.
Sounds good. With the next question, we have Daniel H asking about DTII. So this stock is going for around 2 cents. Stocks like these are extremely, extremely, extremely risky. It looks like it's been bouncing from around 2 cents back up to 5 cents and then 7 cents. Overall, I would never play a company or stock like this. A lot of times companies like these just end up going out of business, or they end up, just diluting their shares so much where, the shares just fall over time significantly. Overall, it has a lot of potential. It's pretty volatile. I would never play anything like this, but like I said, it's just super, super risky.
Yeah, it sounds like a pretty interesting company, Defense Technology. So definitely keep your eye out for them. 2 cents a share. They are on the 100 SMA. It looks like they're starting to like stair step to the upside, but like Mike said, they're so risky. I personally would never put my money into these.
Sounds good. With the next question, we have Royal asking about Plug. So overall, this stock has been doing very well over the past year. Went from about $2.50 all the way to highs of $75. And right now it's sitting right around 42. It looks like there's a pretty big support right around $40 per share. And then just under that, there's a gap right at like $37 per share. So it's getting pretty close to support. Hopefully, if it tests that support, that might bring a good opportunity for like a long-term investment. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it could be good for cash secured puts as well, like you said, for a long term investment. And like Mike said earlier, that's where we're hoping to possibly get a sign to get shares for the longer term at a shorter price, at a lower price.
For sure. All right. With the next question, we have Sean saying, thanks, Mike and Tom. Another great video. So what happens? So he's talking about the momentum play. So he said, so what happens when Twitter, like the level to break is $70.70, and then Twitter in pre-market rockets up to $71.25. So basically, let's say we call out a momentum play. So like Tom, if we want to head over to, let's say, maybe Pfizer or something like that, because we are eyeing it to the upside. And Tom, what levels were you watching for this one again?
35.86.
All right, 35.86. So let's say tomorrow morning, Twitter is sitting at, let's say $39.90, right? Overall, it's already above that breakout price. So overall, it's just breaking out. So what you're gonna have to do from that point is just kind of like gauge the momentum. If you see a lot of buying or a lot of positive momentum flowing into the stock and it's just breaking above resistance levels, it can still be a great play. But here's the thing, like let's say it gaps up and the stock's at like $38, then you probably already missed the move. So long story short, if it's above or below the level that we called to break, like let's say to the upside, if it's above that level, you just kind of have to eye it out, So if it's up too much, then you might want to skip the play. But if it's like only a couple cents over, then most of the time it'll still be a good play. But you just have to watch out for resistance levels and keep your eye on like the volume and things like that.
Yeah, and in those circumstances, make sure that you're really watching it as well, because it could very easily pull back.
For sure. All right. Well, Tom, do you have any last minute stocks, options, or any insight for the market tomorrow? I'm pretty excited about everything going on. We have the S&P 500 at all-time highs. Powell speaking tomorrow. We just have a lot of interesting things going on in the market.
Yeah, I hope Jay Powell can get his money printers going. It's going to be a very interesting day. The VXX started to pop at the end of the day today, so maybe that's a sign for tomorrow. Who knows? I think the overall sentiment's going to be with Jay Powell, so just watch out for what he does. I'm going to be watching a few stocks like AMD, NVDA, and a few tech stocks. Hopefully, they can kind of recover back up. But if Jay Powell gives some negative sentiment, then obviously they're all probably going to go down.
For sure. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget, if you want to trade with Tom and I every single day, day trades, swing trades, and access to our bots, you can click the first link in the description down below for about $40 off. We had a pretty hot month overall. Of course, we don't win every play, but overall, we're having a pretty good month. So don't forget, it's the first link in the description down below. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe. We post brand new videos every single day. And if you have any questions, let us know in the comments down below. But other than that, thanks for watching.